What are the opportunities to tackle poverty in the United States? Well, there are just about as many opportunities here as there are in developing countries. If you look at it as poverty in urban areas and rural areas, let's talk a little bit about the rural areas first. The approach I described in Out of Poverty works just as well in rural areas here as it does in developing countries. A few years back, I visited the San Luis Valley, which is one of the poorest rural areas in Colorado. And what I was curious about is what are the main ways that farmers who are poor in the San Luis Valley earn their income, just the same as the question about farmers in developing countries. I learned from talking to farmers in the San Luis Valley that there's an approach which seems particularly useful in a poor rural area. That approach looks at opportunities for decentralized processing that adds value to agricultural products. There are several approaches, but that one is especially promising. It goes something like this. For an area like the San Luis Valley, the first question to ask in the big picture is, what are the most important economic crops grown there in terms of dollar value? In the San Luis Valley, for instance, the two key crops were canola oil and potatoes. The second question is, for each of those crops, what is the greatest added value produced in processing? So if you look at that separately, potatoes, one of the things that happens to potatoes from the San Luis Valley is that they're trucked to Texas, where they're rebagged and sent back for sale in stores in the San Luis Valley. But that's not the biggest added value in processing. The biggest added value that I found was making French fries and curly fries. And once again, that's done in big factories in Texas, and then those products are shipped back for sale to the San Luis Valley. Which raises the question, why wouldn't it be possible to use a small processing piece of equipment and make curly fries and French fries right in the San Luis Valley, develop an attractive local San Luis Valley brand, and market and distribute those curly fries and French fries to customers in the San Luis Valley. With a nice brand identity and attractive packaging, you should be able to make nice margins and eliminate all of the transport costs and some of the other waste costs in processing by doing it locally. It won't be quite as efficient as a larger plant, but maybe there's an opportunity for profit. In the case of canola oil, it quickly became apparent that there are several health food stores in the San Luis Valley area, and the highest value product is a canola oil that is ideally organic, that is again packaged, branded with an attractive local brand and sold in local health food stores. How difficult would it be to do that? Well, a few years back, some friends of mine, a guy named Martin Dietz in Germany, surveyed all of the oil expellers in the world, and they varied from a $500 oil expeller made by a company in India to oil expellers that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. They're much more efficiently, very little oil behind in the press cake. It turns out that there currently are available pretty good oil expellers for $2,000 or $3,000. A small enterprise could create an attractively branded canola oil and sell it to shops, health food stores and similar shops in the San Luis Valley. It would leave a little bit more oil in the press cake, but again, you wouldn't have to deal with the transport. You'd have an attractive local brand, and you'd have very attractive margins, and the extra oil in the press cake would make it somewhat more valuable as an animal feed. Would it work to set up enterprises making locally branded curly fries and French fries, and then canola oil for health food stores. I don't know. The next step would be to give it a beta test and see if it works. At very little cost, you could check this out. If you could do the added value processing in the San Luis Valley, you could add jobs in the San Luis Valley. The labor cost would be much less, and you could probably earn some attractive margins and contribute to the economic development and empowerment in the area. I think you can take that exactly that same approach and apply it to every poor rural area in the United States and Canada. And you're likely going to come up with some pretty valuable local enterprises that contribute to economic development and